So, agency in the 21st century as the key to navigate a complex and uncertain future. I wrote about this in my newsletter. If you haven't read it, what are you doing? Go ahead, subscribe and read it, please. And well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about this without script, without a structure, and see what happens. So why do I insist on agency? Because as I said in the newsletter, we have the AI agents arriving in 2025. We have AGI at our doorstep, and quantum chips and a cognitive and technological revolution that is unprecedented. So I firmly believe that we need to develop ourselves in a different way. And at the same time, it's the same way that we have developed as human beings. But the thing is that we have to find the right intersection between what we do, what we know how to do, and then the infinite of possibilities. And this is what I try to do with the Spanish classes. It can be odd, it can be strange to think that a Spanish course at university is something that leads to the development of agency and so on. But the thing is that there's a logical relationship between learning a language and practicing it, and then developing a new self and a new level of agency. Well, it is simple. We are building pathways through the practice of language, and if we do this intentionally, then we can build and we can help our brains and our mind to build a new cognitive architecture and a new way to see the world. I learned this through pedagogical exercises, through meditation, through language practice, and I realized that there is a lot of value in integrating language learning with well-being practices and sense making, especially in 2025. So my students, what I do, I developed the whole program of the El Profesional del Siglo XXI, in which they have the opportunity to rebuild themselves, or at least symbolically, through mantras that they develop themselves and that they write themselves and then they practice themselves according to their own inner reality. So it was meant to be developed and deployed within a framework. So the framework goes like this. So we have health, we have learning, we have the relationships, and then we have the resources. So and of course they are right in the middle of the intersection of these four topics, and I think that this is what they have to develop. They need to develop this sense of agency, but it doesn't mean that they need to stop learning about the specific skills, about the university studies and so on. What this means is that they need to integrate this framework within a life vision for a future that is completely different to what we all imagine. And I say this, I'm a very optimistic person, so I always try to convey this message with the intention of developing new possibilities. And I think that Spanish, or learning a language, is something that needs to be deprogrammed from the, we need to change the point of view that we have in terms of language learning, because in the past we used to think that, well, I go to the university, I see that I have a Spanish course, so I will do the exercises and I will try to have a grade. But I'm trying to do more than this. Of course, formally we have to do this, right? But I want them to understand that as university students, they need to see this in a more universal way. Well, that's precisely why they go to the university, right? And I think it's a very interesting way to find a link with themselves and the capacity to learn and transform themselves. So it's a nice exercise. They build mantras around every part of the framework, and then they practice it, and then they make a synthesis about this. So in this synthesis, there's a negative part and a positive part. They can see what are the highlights and what are the things they have to go for and the things they have to avoid. And then in this vision, they have the possibility to remind themselves the right path through the enunciation of the mantras. So it starts by building the pathways with the mantras, and then it it helps if they can remind themselves through the mantras the pathway to go to the right direction in every part of the framework. So it's part of what has helped me. It is part of what has helped other people that I have seen with more or less the same experiences with language, and then I'm implementing them here with my students. So it helps them to build their own agency as individuals who try to find a new way, a new way to develop themselves in life. It helps them to practice the language and to be aware of what language represents for them. So I see this exercise also as a way to develop linguistic abilities in general, actually, and to see the use of language as a tool that serves a lot of things. I mean, it's not only for communicating with other people, but also for communicating with ourselves and with the world of ideas. This is something that is very strange because we are not used to it. Well, most people are not used to it, but if you take this system, the language, you take it as a system in which you act, in which you have a goal, a specific goal, then you are outside of it, you control it, and then you achieve a goal. In this case, the goal we are achieving is maximizing the agency within this framework. So this is why I talk about seeing the language as a system and applying systems thinking to language. So the exercise is very simple, actually. I mean, I talk more about this in the newsletter, and I will be releasing the whole program when I decide about the platform in which I will be sharing the documents and so on. The document will be free for download, but in fact, it's very, very simple to understand what it is about. Just write about every part of the framework in Spanish or in the language that you are learning. Talk about the positive, talk about the negative, make a synthesis, and then from that work, take the mantras that you wrote, like the things that you want, that you achieved, that you want to achieve, and the things that you want to avoid, and the things that are harming you, and then just verbalize them, because it is by verbalizing that you will be able to construct the pathways. So that's what you have to do, and that's it. But of course, little details about the instructions and how to proceed will be in the, well, you can read more about this in the newsletter and in the program. You will have everything. So, but I just wanted to make this little comment because I think that it is a fascinating project for me, and I hope that, well, if you are seeing this and you read the newsletter and then in the near future you download the program, it will be beneficial for you as well. So I think I'll stop here. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned if you want to see more about my work. I've been feeding my Instagram a lot with new posts. I'm glad about what I'm doing there because it's a platform that I was hesitating to use, but I said whatever. And I'm quite pleased with what's happening there. But well, I'll be here on YouTube, on X. All my links are in the description. So follow for more about this work, and And yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.